Pain heals. Chicks dig scars. Glory lasts forever.
Is there anyone, please let me know, anyone in the WNBA who has a IQ that is not in the single digits? And I'm not even talking about players, although that would be very helpful if they could figure this out as well, but somebody who is in a position that can affect change because they are ruining the best thing that is ever going to happen to this league. I know you know it. Caitlin Clark is it. She is the one that is going to change everything about this league going forward. She is the one that is going to bring in the fans, as we have seen. We've got players that are coming after her that are playing the game in a different way because of her. And the WNBA absolutely refuses to recognize it. So why am I talking about it again? Because here is another a great example of what they refuse to understand. Forbes unveils first ever most powerful women in sports list featuring 25 of the trailblazers transforming the industry, including Cale Benson, Caitlin Clark, Michelle Kang, Serena Williams, and more. So, what do we got going on with this list? Well, here's the thing, folks. Caitlin Clark is the highest rated athlete on this. I believe she comes in at number 4 on this list. You know, we've got athletes, executives, owners, investors, front office leaders, industry amplifiers. I mean, you get in situations like this where you're talking about an industry like sports, women's sports, men's, a specific sport, whatever it is, you're going to have a lot of people behind the scenes that are making huge differences that you and I may not hear of. And then, of course, you have the ones out in front, whether it's an owner that gets well known. You know, you get someone like David Beckham, say in MLS, who becomes part owner of Inter Miami or something like that. And then, of course, you also have in rare cases where you have athletes that are that powerful. Let's talk about what it takes. What are the criteria? What's the methodology for this list? Hey, that's a great question. Glad you asked. So to determine their most powerful women in sports, Forbes began with some critical questions that they asked. Who are the owners using their wealth to drive business opportunities and investments into their team or sport? That should be all owners, by the way. I mean, even if their sole goal in buying a sports franchise is to make money, you it takes money to make money, right? You've heard that. So yeah, they should be looking at those opportunities that are going to drive investments that are going to make their investment into their franchise worth more money. And then of course, who are the athletes with the biggest platforms, reaching the most fans and commanding attention that is driving consumer interest? Keep that question in the back of your mind. Who are the executives, coaches, and amplifiers finding this ecosystem's growth, fueling this ecosystem's growth by boosting attendance or merchandise sales and forging big money media rights deals? I would say that question is very, very relevant to players as well. And then they divided them into sectors, power players into 5 categories: owners, investors, business executives, front office leaders, athletes, and amplifiers. And they had proprietary team valuations. Then we get into kind of the nitty gritty into terms of what they look at. But I think the biggest key here is in that question: who are the athletes with the biggest platforms, reaching the most fans and commanding attention that is driving consumer interest? And this is where, for me, it's not specifically about her, but I just saw something the other day where actually, I'm going to do another video on it because there's some important stuff I don't want to get into here that'll make this way too long. But once again, with the whole, it's Caitlin Clark was not popular until Angel Reese stalked her on the court and obnoxiously waved her hand in front of her face and followed her around like a crazy person, which we all know not to be true. But then in response to that, when a couple people pointed out that it's nonsense, the response to that was, "Oh, she had so many more social media follows, blah blah, woof woof. Social media follows don't mean jack shit when you are talking about the specifics of this question, which is what matters for athletes." Angel Reese is not supposed to be an influencer that makes money based on promoted posts that she puts on her IG account. being in the Victoria's Secret thing, well, that may be maybe that's a bucket list thing. That's great for her, separate from basketball, but that is not putting butts in seats to watch basketball games. That is not putting butts in their own seats at home to watch basketball games on TV. And that is the huge difference between someone like Caitlin Clark and someone like Angel Reese. They're completely different things. Caitlin Clark doesn't give a crap about social media. She barely uses it. She is not interested in being an influencer. Any influence is a byproduct of her fandom, which is based on how she plays basketball. That, my friends, is what matters. Case in point, remember last year, highest paid female athletes. Caitlin Clark was 10th on the list in her rookie year with $11.1 million. I believe highest ranked WNBA player of all time. Typically, as you do here, you get the athletes you get on lists like that for women are usually like golf and tennis and so forth. Those are the athletes in the women's side that make a lot of money, both in terms of their tour play, but then in terms of endorsements and promotions and so on and so forth. So where is Caitlin Clark on this list? And keep in mind, she is an athlete, and yet she still came in all the way up at number 4. She was behind New Orleans Saints and Pelicans owner Gail Benson, FanDuel CEO Amy Howe, and Nike brand president Amy, I'm not sure how to pronounce Montang, I don't know, Montagne. That gets tricky. The list wrote Caitlin Clark has turned a record-breaking college basketball career into early dominance in the WNBA. Her estimated 8.1 million in income from her rookie season with the Indiana Fever was bolstered by big deals with Nike, Wilson, and Gatorade, and signals a shift in how female athletes are being valued in the world of professional sports. Okay, I don't know where they get that estimated number because I think that list that I just talked about with the 11.1 million was a Forbes list as well. So this has to be a some sort of misprint. I don't know if it signals a shift because again, golf and tennis and those, you have athletes like that. I think Coco Golf, if I remember correctly, was number one on the list. They make a lot of money. But if you also see what her brand deals are, they're related to Caitlin Clark being an athlete. Nike, Wilson, Gatorade. And I'm not saying athletes can't do other stuff, but it's not Reese's cereal. It is not walking the runway at a Victoria's Secrets fashion show. Okay, I'm just saying. Speaking of, we did have this, which is kind of wild. Miss Indiana Sydney Shrewsbury honors Caitlin Clark at Miss USA with custom pageant fit. And because I think we have it, let me see. I think they showed it down here. Right. So there you go. Miss Indiana rocked a Caitlin Clark themed outfit for her state inspired costume. That is the kind of impact Caitlin Clark has. Everything that's been going on in the WNBA the past couple years has been because of Caitlin Clark. She's on this list because of that power she has as an athlete and her fan base that tunes in and shows up for games, that buys merchandise. I can't even imagine what's going to happen when her shoe finally drops. But she sells out stuff all the time. I mean, Wilson is a great example. It's like every time they come out with a ball, it sells out immediately. I was going to say, and automatically. You look at the prices of what cards have gone for with Caitlin Clark. None of that is happening with these other athletes. They may have social media followers and so forth, but they don't have that leverage and that power of an athlete to grow their game because people knowing who they are and being fans of them as an athlete, which is what matters. And that's what Caitlin Clark does have. So anyway, I thought this was pretty cool. I mean, that's number 4 on the not athletes. I mean, well, let's go down even further. It's not women's basketball. It's not women's athletes. It is women, period. Women in sports. And she is number 4 on the list and the highest rated athlete here. And let me just check one more thing. Let's just check one more thing because I think there were a few other yeah, here we go. You had Nafisa Collier and Brianna Stewart in at number 9. And that's going to be because of Unrivaled and the fact that they also get to, negotiate as members of the board and the union and WNBA, which is wild. Then you have Asia Wilson at 15 South Carolina Gamecocks coach Dawn Staley at 20, Aces coach Beck Hammond at 22. And I promise you, all of them are on this list because of Caitlin Clark. Every single one of them is on this list because of Caitlin Clark. There would not be anyone related to the WNBA on this list. This is the first time Forbes has done this list, so we can't go back if it were not for Caitlin Clark. The WNBA needs to wake up. They need to understand what they have, and they need to do it quickly, because if they do not have a 2026 season, they may never recover from it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Appreciate you being here. Thanks so much. Do me a favor, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Go have the day you deserve. I will talk to you later.